Hi folks, welcome to the channel. If you've looked at the title of this video, you'll know what the subject matter is. It's the main part of the video is to show a series of books that came into my possession a couple of months ago. H.P. Lovecraft has been one of my favorite authors from a very early age. I discovered him well before other favorites like Stephen King and Ramsey Campbell even came onto the scene. I own a number of different editions of his work, including the big complete works. So when I saw that, must have been early last year, that one of my favorite small publishing houses, small presses, PS Publishing, had done a series of illustrated books of Lovecraft stories. I was very, very tempted. I think this series was produced back in about 2013, 2014, but I only just found out about it early last year. If you don't know PS Publishing, check them out. They're a wonderful publishing house. They do superbly produced limited editions of genre works. They do a lot of Stephen King stuff. All, sort of done in hardback with slip cases, beautiful artwork. But they also do the hardbacks without the slip cases, and they do a wonderful line of paperback volumes as well. So yes, they started this series of illustrated Lovecraft stories. There were 17 volumes in total in the series. So when I discovered them, I thought, it's going to be a bit pricey, as it would have been. And as I tried to rationalize it to myself, I've got all the stories anyway. So why do I really need to buy another set? So I didn't do anything about it. But then later in the year, I noticed that PS2, which is another arm of PS, it's where they do all their bargains, where they sell off overstock and returns and such like. You can get some marvelous bargains there of the books that they've published. I saw that they were doing the complete set of 17 at half price, and that still was tempting, but I still thought, no, I'll hang fire. Still, even at half price, it's still fairly pricey. No, be sensible, be sensible. But this year I gave in. I thought these books are eventually going to disappear, and you're going to regret not having bought them. So I bit the bullet and ordered the 17 books at the half price offer. That offer, by the way, I think is still on. So if you like what I'm going to show, then maybe worth your while investing. Anyway, let's have a look at what they produced. All of these books were edited by the illustrator Pete von Scholly. He's a well-known illustrator who's worked in comic books and magazines for years, and has actually storyboarded over 100 feature films, including The Shawshank Redemption, The Mist, The Green Mile, Darkman, Mars Attacks, The Mask, and James and the Giant Peach, and he's a massive fan of Lovecraft's work. So, volume 1 is The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. See this beautiful wraparound dust cover, illustrated obviously by Pete von Scholly. But if you take the cover off, and this is true for all of, I think, PS's books, you get the artwork without the text on the cover itself. Isn't that beautiful? And inside you get further artwork inside the cover. Superb. As I said, all of these volumes are edited by Pete von Scholly, but they also all feature an introduction by S.T. Joshi, who is the sort of preeminent expert on H.P. Lovecraft. Has written a lot of books about him, has edited a lot of anthologies, etc. And I think these stories that are presented in these volumes are using S.T. Joshi's corrected text, because I think when they were originally published in the magazines like Weird Tales, there were mistakes entered the text and editorial changes. So he went through, I think, everything using the original manuscripts and produced the true text of the stories. So yes, this is volume 1, the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. You get a nice front page there, and the general format of these books is you'll get the main story, in this case, as I said, Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, and that's often followed by essays related to that story. In this first volume, it's just an essay by Pete von Scholly himself, relating his relationship to the works of H.P. Lovecraft. And I'll just show you some of the internal illustrations. Wonderful illustrations by Pete von Scholly. Gorgeous. I think these books are superb. There you go. So that was volume 1. Just move through these quickly because otherwise it's going to take forever. Volume 2 is The Dream in the Witch House. Look at that. I'll show you the main artwork for each one. There's the inner illustration. This, as well as the introduction by S.T. Joshi, has a foreword by Stuart Gordon, the director, and you also get an essay by the great Fritz Leiber, an excellent author, Through Hyperspace with Brown Jenkin. Show you. Look at that. They're profusely illustrated. There's loads of pictures throughout the text. Volume 3 is The Dunwich Horror. There's the inner artwork. This one, as well as the introduction and the main story, has 3 essays. The Mythic Hero Archetype in the Dunwich Horror by Donald R. Burleson. Call Me Wizard Whately, Echoes of Moby Dick in the Dunwich Horror by Pete Cannon, and Lustcraft by W.H. Pugmire. Volume 4 is The Shadow Out of Time. The inner artwork. And this one again has 3 essays. The Vanity of Existence in the Shadow of Time by Paul Montelone, The Shadow Out of Plastic by Pete von Scholly, and The Shadow Out of Time as Lovecraftian Horror by W.H. Pugmire. There you go. Show a couple of examples of the inner artwork. I think these are well worth getting if you're a Lovecraft fan. Volume 5, famous The Shadow over Innsmouth. Look at that. Incredible. Captures Lovecraft's creations very well. Let's get the sign for Innsmouth in the inner. Oops, excuse me. Again, with this one, you get not only do you get essays like The Shadow Over the Shadow by Pete von Scholly, you actually, I think, get other. Yeah, these are 3 other stories. The Harbour Master by the great Robert W. Chambers, Fishhead by Irving S. Cobb, and Fish Sticks by Robert M. Price. Cool. Wonderful. Excellent. Volume 6, one of his most famous works, At the Mountains of Madness. Great story. Show the inner. One of his longest works, I think. Again, you get essays, Frozen Horrors by Pete von Scholly, In Amundsen's Tent by John Martin Lee, In Amundsen's Tent by John Martin Lee by S.T. Joshi, and The Occupant of the Tent, I think a story by Robert M. Price. There you go. Hope you can see those well enough. Excellent. Volume 7 is The Call of Cthulhu. Must admit, as well as H.P. Lovecraft's work himself, I love buying homages to, you can get, there's hundreds of them now, people writing additions to the Cthulhu mythos, or writing in this style of the great man himself, the godfather of cosmic horror. That's the inner artwork. Oops. And in this one you get not only the main story, but you get 8 essays. I won't list them all, relating to various aspects of the story. I've got a little statuette over there of Cthulhu in that sort of pose. Looks pretty identical. There you go. Superb. Volume 8, another famous story, recently made into an excellent film, The Colour Out of Space. Inner artwork. Again, this comes with with 4 essays, but you also get the story "The Damn Thing" by Ambrose Bierce, which I think was an influence on the story. Oh, show some of the artwork. Black and white one there. Unusual that he's chosen to illustrate The Colour Out of Space with black and white illustrations, mainly because maybe the colour was impossible to capture, really. As with a lot of Lovecraft's imagery, indescribable. But Pete Shawley does a wonderful job of trying to show that. The next one, volume 9, is The Whisper in Darkness. Look at them. Love that back cover. These are all wraparound covers. And there you get excellent. Again, with this one you get a foreword by one of my favourite horror authors, Ramsey Campbell, as well as the S.T. Joshi introduction, the main story, and again another 4 or 5 essays by eminent authors who admire Lovecraft. Volume 10, less well-known work, The Mound. Look at that. Excellent. Just 3 essays with this one. One by S.T. Joshi himself. Look at that. I'm really glad I went for this series. Totally pleased. The Haunter Out of the Dark. I love that cover with the dark reds. Like that. With The Thing on the Doorstep and more. So at this point I think we're starting to get other stories as well as the main one. They become basically anthologies. So as well as The Haunter in the Dark, you get Thing on the Doorstep, The Shadow, Nyarlathotep. You get a couple of essays, but you also get stories from the great Robert Bloch. You get The Shambler from the Stars and The Shadow from the Steeple. You get a story by Hans Heinz Ewers, The Spider. And you get an essay at the end, A Eulogy for the Church of the Haunter of the Dark by Robert Bloch. Robert Bloch, obviously best known for writing Psycho, but wrote stories for the Cthulhu mythos. One of my favourite horror authors. Brilliant. Number 12. One of his famous novellas, The Case of Charles Dexter Ward. Brilliant. I love this inner cover. As well as the main novella, you also get here an essay regarding the influence of M.R. James's Count Magnus story on the case of Charles Dexter Ward, and you also get the Count Magnus story itself printed in here. Wonderful. Keep saying wonderful, but they are. Volume 13 is The Festival and Other Abnormalities. This one is an anthology, basically. I don't think there are any essays in here, but what you get is The Statement of Randolph Carter, The Unnameable, The Silver Key, Through the Gates of the Silver Key, that's written with E. Hoffman Price, The Hound, The Festival, The Nameless City, and one of my favourite stories, The Rats in the Walls. Hope my showing of the artwork is coming across as it truly deserves to be. But the best way to see it is to buy the set. Off you get to PS Publishing too. Half price offer. Look at that. Nearing the end. Volume 14. Herbert West, Reanimator and Kindred Nightspawn. Obviously made into famous films. Wonderful schlocky films. There you go. Again, it's basically an anthology, so you get From Beyond, Herbert West Reanimator, The Lurking Fear, Under the Pyramids, The Horror Red Hook, In the Vault, Pickman's Model, and In the Walls of Eric's, that last one with Kenneth Sterling. Wish I could show you all the wonderful artwork that's inside here. Just trying to find particular striking examples, and I keep on flicking past them. Look at that. Number 15 is Dagon and Diverse Monstrosities. This one features the stories Dagon, the Terrible Old Man, facts concerning the late Arthur Jermyn and his family, the picture in the house, the outsider, the music of Eric Zahn, and the shunned house. Just got to show there's an excellent picture in here of Eric Zahn. I can find it. There you go. Excellent. Beautiful. Penultimate one is The Other Gods and Various Ethereal Effusions. You know, artwork again. Again, anthology of stories: The Tomb, Polaris, Beyond the Wall of Sleep, The White Ship, The Doom That Came to Sarnath, The Tree, The Cats of Ulthar, The Temple, Saliathas, The Quest of Iranon, The Moonbog, The Other Gods, Hypnos, and The Strange High House in the Mist. And finally, the last one in the series, The Curse of Yig and Selected Ghastly Ghost Writings. So Lovecraft worked on stories of other people's, finishing them off. In a lot of cases, actually virtually rewriting them. And that's what we get to an extent here. We get a couple of stories written with Zialia Bishop, The Curse of Yig and Medusa's Coil. You get a couple done with Hazel Heald, The Horror in the Museum and Out of the Eons. And you get one with William Lumley, The Diary of Alonzo Typer. And then finishes off with three essays by Pete von Scholly, W.H. Pugmire, and the final one by Robert M. Price. Did Lovecraft write Lovecraft pastiches? Did he? Need to read it to find out. There you go. So, yeah, I would heartily recommend this series to any fan of Lovecraft. Not only do you get the wonderful stories by the great man himself, but you get these wonderful illustrations by Pete von Scholly and some enlightening essays related to the works as well. And they'll look beautiful on your bookshelves. That was going to be all I was going to show, but I thought, as this is the illustrated Lovecraft, I'd show some other editions quickly. First off, I've never been a fan of manga really. I'm just trying it recently, and what started me was these volumes by the Japanese artist Gu Tanabe. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. With his interpretation here of The Hound and Other Stories. These are typical manga in that you read them in the Japanese manga fashion from back to front, but luckily at the front it gives you an idea of how you're meant to read each of the panels in the story. So this is his interpretation of these various stories. Some lovely artwork inside. Does a superb job with them. The only problem I had with these, I think, is with graphic novels and the such like. I think the larger the format, the better the artwork comes across, and these are quite small format books. The other two I've got by him are his interpretation of The Mountains of Madness. This is done as a two-parter. Again, does a superb job, superb artwork. Like I say, I'd just love to see it in a larger format. But I thoroughly enjoyed these. I would highly recommend them, especially if you're a manga fan as well. And you get volume 2. Usually I don't like manga because of the highly stylized look of it. I mean, it just doesn't sit right with me. Not in any, nasty fashion, but just never been a fan. But this is not quite in that fashion, I don't think. So again, I would recommend these. He's got a new one coming out in November, which is his interpretation of The Shadow Out of Innsmouth. But leaving possibly the best till last, I want to show these books. As I said, artwork should be done in large-scale format. Look at that. This is The Call of Cthulhu. Now, these aren't graphic interpretations of the whole story. They're the actual full text of the story, illustrated by the French illustrator Francois Barringer. Just good. Show you what the wonderful artwork in here. This won't come across as well on the screen, I'm afraid, but so you get, like I say, you get the full story with these wonderful illustrations, and because it's this oversized format, they look so beautiful. I would highly recommend these. I think this was the first one he did. but he's followed it up with the Mountains of Madness. And as with the Tanabe ones, he's done it as a 2-volume. So this is volume 1 of the Mountains of Madness. I think these volumes are my favourites. They're brilliantly illustrated. And then you get volume 2 of the continuation of the story. I don't think anybody could fail to be impressed by these. If you're, even if you're not a Lovecraft fan. Superb. So there you have it. I'll just say he's got another one coming out, I think in October, which is the Dunwich Horror, which I've definitely put on my wish list from Amazon. I'll be picking that one up when it comes out. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed seeing those illustrated editions of Lovecraft. I keep saying, if you're a fan of Lovecraft, I would highly recommend these series of books. Each has something different to offer. They're wonderful. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope to see you soon. Sorry for taking so long, 38 minutes. Anyway, take care. See you soon. Bye.